Welcome to the Voiceover Round Table. I'm Em O'Neill.
And I'm Mike Tobin. Every week, we get together to talk about all things voiceover with a special focus on community.
Bringing you in-depth interviews, roundtable discussions, special performance events, and industry-leading guests.
Let's get started. This is the Voiceover Round Table.
Mike and I always do a little quick sound check because, if you've been with us for a while, you know that club tech is evil. And we do this sound check right beforehand, and the two of us are yabbering on about, well, then you got to blah, 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 and then this, oh shit, we have a show. Get off it.
We literally dove off of I need water. Run.
Oh my God. But we're here. We made it. We're on time for our own show, which is super helpful. And we have a lovely human with us this evening. She got her start at the age of 16 as a demo singer for the likes of J-Lo, Jessica Simpson, and Mandy Moore. What the actual? It was clear that she was born to use her voice. These days, she employs her vocal prowess and unique Latina flavor in the voiceover world. She is one of the most in-demand bilingual voices in the freelance world and has been recognized as among the top bilingual voices of today.
Her sassy, hip, and edgy style can be heard in practically every market across the United States, Caribbean, and South America, and many areas of the voiceover industry, including commercial, promo, imaging, and so much more, lending her voice to campaigns for big clients like Verizon, Best Buy, and Target. Her friendly, believable English with Latin accent delivery is highly sought after, reaching a huge market right in the middle with Latinx, Latina English flair.
With nearly 25 years of experience, multi-award winning, represented by Atlas Talent coast to coast, please welcome to the Voiceover Round Table, our very, very special guest tonight, bilingual voice talent, Issa Lopez. Hola, Issa.
Hi, I need to
Hola.
bring you guys with me everywhere, to the mall. Everywhere.
Totally.
That's what we call the treatment.
Yeah.
Hello, gorgeous lady. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me on. I was super excited about it. I think we're going to have a good time.
Absolutely.
I hope so. It's wonderful to have you with us tonight, Issa. I really appreciate you taking time to be with us.
Yeah.
And one of the first things I want to talk about, of course, is
Mike is bilingual, so he's
bilingual
is
a thing. Look out! So I'm gonna this. We have like these long, drawn out questions, but I want to shoot a whole bunch of questions rapid fire at you. Okay? Just
Sure.
to start, where it's like the warm up. First,
Sure.
Where are you from?
I was born in Puerto Rico,
Yes.
but I came to Colorado at the age of 5.
Okay.
Which is why I kind of connect the ability to speak a very straight English, because I've been here a long time.
From a young age. So you've answered my second question. The second question was which language came first? And so it was...
Spanish came first.
Right.
But, people ask me all the time, oh, Issa, do you think, how do you think? I think in English. I may speak Spanish, but I think as a human being in English. I do most of my stuff in English.
Okay, and where do you credit learning the second language from like English? I know you said you moved to American
Mr.
Pie.
Reading Reading Rainbow, Winnie the Pooh.
TV.
Yeah, TV, man.
And
TV.
Neighborhood, I would imagine, right? Neighborhood Friends.
Neighborhood, the bilingual ESL program that schools in Colorado had for me, right?
That's good.
Talking with friends and just talking with people too,
Yeah. Okay. So you sort of answered this, but here come a couple of silly questions.
Mm-hmm.
You said what you think in, but I want to know what language you dream in.
English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you swear, because I'm not going to assume, what language do you swear in?
I mean, I say ay Dios mío a lot, which is oh my God a lot in Spanish. But if I'm going to do any other words, it would be in English.
Okay. Okay. So there's not like which is better to swear in, English or Spanish? Like which is more like?
I think English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
More colorful words.
French is a really good language to swear in.
Oh boy.
Oh, tabarnak!
There she goes.
You
Well,
know?
now, thank you. Now I have to put the explicit rating on this episode
you do.
as well.
You do.
The following show contains explicit language thanks to Emma O'Neill. Oh my
Too
goodness.
interesting because I have an old friend who was from Puerto Rico, and when she noticed she was thinking and dreaming in English, she had like an existential crisis. And she had lived in the U.S. and Canada for most of her life, but because of her identity as a Puerto Rican, like because she would be counting change in Spanish, she would be doing it, but when she noticed she was dreaming in English, she was like, "Oh my God,
Wow.
like this is wrong."
Right. That's crazy.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, Mike does get very excited about bilingualism, and he's been on me. He's like, "Can we invite this person? Can we invite this person?" So when I said, I was like, "How about I invite Issa?" He's like, "Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes."
that's great. I'm glad I'm here.
Very, very excited. So he gets giddy about the bilingual, but I get a little bit giddy about music. So one of the things that caught my eye is your start in singing. Demo singer for Jessica Simpson, Mandy Moore, J-Lo. Hello, can we please
I get
touch
giddy
on
about
that?
J-Lo too. Okay.
Like,
Tell
me.
My voice started, out in singing, and I get this from my father, a very musical family. He was one of the creators of Menudo back in the day. So I got that musical side from him, and I was always able to sing. I remember Star Search coming to Colorado, and I won that I at 11 years old, and I won the Battle of the Bands at 15 years old.
That's so cool.
I was always able to really singing was just my thing. I always won the talent, shows in school, and my nickname in high school was Mariah. And I always tell people, the next time you are watching television or you're listening, I don't know, to a YouTube, and you hear someone like Mariah Carey talk, you will find the similarities in voices like hers and mine. Where you can be like, "Oh, okay, I get it." So, yeah, it's about tone, and I had a great time doing that. I was supposed to sign to Sony when I was in my 20s, but they wanted to make a hoochie mama out of me more. They wanted to sexualize me more, so I kind of. I was very disappointed. I worked all my life to become a singer. It was my dream. And then when I finally got to that round table, it was a huge wake-up call because they really wanted to take me there. And I decided to walk away. And
Good for you.
It was very depressing. I got depressed for the first time. As it was crazy. And I became a nanny for a while to pay the bills. And the guy that I used to nanny for provided glasses for the program directors and the DJ personalities for, at that time, Clear Channel, which is now iHeart Radio or iHeart Media.
Gotcha.
And one day he came home and he's like, "Hey, I was at the strip club with my buddies, and they were telling me that they're about to launch they're going to try something new in radio, which is going to be more of a Spanish English type of a thing. And I think you should go try out for it." And I was like, as a singer, I kind of took it offensively. So I talked to a lot of the people that I used to demo for, big, producers. And they were like, "You know what, Issa, this is going to be the easiest way for you to be in producer spaces is to be on the air about music. So get into radio, and then you'll be able to get into music easier." So I took that advice. I put my ego to the side, and I never looked back. I got so dedicated to radio that I never really sung again, except for singing the national anthem and stuff at the Nuggets games.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
So cool. Now, you had a really good run in radio. More than 10 years, I think. 10
Yeah,
years
almost 12.
Nice.
Yeah, and I started off automatically getting a morning show. Now, and everybody listening, please, that does not happen ever. So I got very lucky.
The top prize, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 10 years, 12 years in radio.
Yeah.
Now, were you doing VO the whole time as well?
I was doing a little bit of VO starting in 2005 for the radio station. But what I've come to realize, and this is not to put down radio, okay? But radio commercials as radio personalities are more of a talk at you type of a approach. So when I was let go, I'll never forget it. It was at 9:30 a.m. on January 6th of 2016. Oh my gosh, where was I going with this? When I went full time, because I decided, okay, I went for a lot of interviews after I was let go to other morning shows, but when I saw what they were going to offer me, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. The radio was, just in trouble. You know what I mean? As far as advertising. So I decided, okay, I have enough savings. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I'm going to try to do this VO thing for a year to see if I can stay afloat. And I had heard the rumor that people that were coming out of radio have a really hard time booking commercial. Well, of course, I was conceited at that time. And I thought, oh, no, that's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. Well, I want people to know that are listening. It took me almost 3 years to book a real commercial. And what I mean by real commercial, I mean, not just something local. I mean something national with an agency. Yeah. It took me over 10 years to get represented by an agency. These things take time. Yes, I know that there's lucky people sometimes, and maybe some of these approaches now that we have, like TikTok and Instagram, they didn't exist when I was trying to get represented. Yeah. So, and opportunities may come easier now because there are so many avenues. But it took a hot minute for me to book for real. You know what I mean? Because I had to get that radio out of my voice, and it was not easy. It was not easy.
It's funny. It's like I didn't share the questions with you. Okay, tell everybody I didn't share the questions.
No,
but
you
it's
didn't.
It's like you're picking them off the page, or you're like mind reading or something. Because I was going to say, initially I was going to say that maybe it's a more male-dominated announcer thing, but the industry seems to be critical of and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And there you just laid it right out. But like maybe you can because there are a lot of people that transition out of radio and are continuing to transition out of radio into voiceover. Yes. Because like what you said, the industry is not what it used to be, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, I personally, I love radio, like real terrestrial radio. I just love that. But we're in a changing world and we got to face the facts. And like you've just attested to it, that it's the same deal for ladies, that when you're coming out of radio, it's hard. So how do you get from that place to now being so great? Like you're known for being great at the ever in demand conversational voiceover, and not only that, but in both languages, and in the middle of the road language too.
So
right? Like
I want to go back. Yeah, first of all, thank you. I want to go back a little bit, and this is to people that are, listening, that are in the beginning. So what I did to pay the bills, and shout out to, again, I have a lot of mentors in VO, and we all need them. Oprah did not make it on her own. She had mentors to help her to be where she's at. And so, Mara Juno, she's amazing. Mara told me a long time ago, okay, Issa, you're out of radio now. You have to pay the bills. What can you do right now? I know that there are things you want to do, but what can you do right now? So before all the coaching, because I was so good at radio and talking about instructions, I focused on explainer videos. I focused on telephony. If you don't know what telephony is and you're listening, it's, thank you for calling Walgreens. Para español, presione dos. It's stuff that I could do in my sleep without any training. So those were the things that while I was practicing, which by the way, I still do 30 to 40 auditions daily now.
Yes,
so so just so you know, it does not stop. It's you have to practice. So, but while I was getting to where I am now, I was doing stuff that I could do. And if you're not sure what you can do, there are VO coaches that can assess your voice at where you are now. If you don't know of people that can assess your voice, reach out to me on Instagram and I will send you links to people that can assess your voice so they can say, okay, for now, you're good at this. Because, and the reason why I say that, Mike and Emma, is because I lost thousands of dollars doing demos with criteria that I could not do at that moment.
Yep.
And you guys, you can have an amazing demo, but if you can't do that stuff on your own, you will never. And even when I got an agent, I thought, oh my gosh, I made it. I'm here.
Yeah.
No, it took 3
grinding.
years for me to book a commercial, spot with that agent. So even when I got the agent, I thought, I made it. It's all about what you can do right now.
Yep. I feel like there
that.
needs to be like applause sound
Yes.
for that.
Wait. I can do that. Wait. Oh, it takes a couple of seconds to get there because I didn't plan for this. It wasn't as we're there.
But it's so true. So
yeah.
many people do get completely taken for a ride by people. It's like, yeah, you're going to do your telephony demo, and you're going to do medical and political and commercial and TV narration and corporate narration and blah, 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 all for the grand total of ridiculous amounts of money you have to sell your left arm and like a kidney. And they work in telephony. You're like,
Yeah, and you know what? Here's another thing. And this is another mistake that I made. Again, lost thousands of dollars because of the demos that I did. There may be a lot of you right now that think, oh my gosh, promo is cool. Oh my gosh, I would love to narrate a book. Oh my goodness, I want to do TV affiliate. Do you really? Let me ask you, have you done that research? Because I'm going to tell you right now, for instance, now this is before COVID. I don't know about now. If you are interested in doing cartoons, which a lot of people that come up to me, oh, I want to do, I'd love to do voiceovers. I'd like to do cartoons. Back in the day, before COVID, most of the cartoons happen in LA. Are you willing to move there? Did you know that before you spent thousands of dollars on that cartoon a demo? And if you want TV affiliate, which if you're not familiar with TV affiliate, it's, like tonight at 9 on Channel 9, TV affiliate, you have to have the golden handcuffs.
It's daily work.
The golden handcuffs means you cannot go to 7-Eleven to get yourself a snack during the day. You got to be in the studio and ready for them at call.
Yeah, waiting for the red light to go on.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Do your research. And as far as books, do you know how many people I know that have done one book and have texted me, Issa, never again will I do a book. Why? Because you're in there in a booth by yourself for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Do your research before you spend the money or before you even think. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm going to put myself out there. I was one of those people that I'm like, hey, coming from radio, I can do TV affiliate in my sleep. But you know what? After coaching about 3 times, which equals about 6 or 7 hours, okay, you guys, on constant coaching of TV affiliate, I can't stand TV affiliate. I can't stand it. I never looked back. And I invested the time in coaching to see, and that, you know what? Here's a great idea. Invest in coaching in that genre before you go out to do that demo, and do your research about how you get those gigs before you spend that moolah.
Yeah. It's important to know what you like, but it's also important to know what you don't like. And I think kind of one helps you find the other and vice versa kind of thing. But I love that you're like, I don't like. And I think me and Emma are on the same page. I don't like audiobooks.
You could be like $1 million an hour, Issa. I'll be like, click. Nope, I'm not interested.
I'm
not interested.
I've done 2, and I only agreed to do them because it was in studio with an audio engineer, and I still thought I was going to die.
Oh, girl.
Like, I thought I was going to die.
And all that to say to any of our audiobook narrators out there,
y'all are
shout out to y'all.
love
Fantastic.
You're amazing.
God bless y'all.
I think the expression that always gets attached to that is that whole labor of love thing, because not only is it a skill that to be able to narrate and do
remember all the
different characters and their voices and things, and be able to do that in a way that's not cheesy, but also to have the stamina to be able to, like Issa says, to be in there for hours and hours and hours and still sound amazing throughout. Like, hats off to you. I know I'm not cut out for that. Sorry.
Right. And a lot of people come up to me in VO conferences and stuff and oh, I want to do video games. Okay. Did you do your research? Do you know how much screaming involves most video games?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. How much of physical acting they take out of you?
Yep.
Do your research.
Yeah.
How many different ways can you die? And how many
that's
different
the quote
sounds
for
can
today
you
is
create?
Do your research. For those of you, because I know you said you were kind enough to say, and maybe there'd be other things people will want to connect with you on your socials. I have linked Issa's personal voiceover website at the top of the page. And on there, you will have Issa's socials and things like that. So if you want to connect or follow Issa, just to know what's going on, it's pinned at the top of the page. So it's all good. Where are we going now with this?
I think that we should open it up to questions because we already have a hand up, which is cool. So if you do have a question for Issa, please raise your hand. And as usual, we will bring you up on stage, but please remain on mute until we ask you to unmute. And then just let us know who you are and what sort of question you got.
And before we go to Ramya, because I know that we're talking a lot of the bilingual thing and stuff like that, but please
Ramya.
Sorry?
Ramya. I looked at her I read her profile, girl.
I didn't.
She explains how to say her name right there. Rum like the drink and like yup.
Ramya?
Ramya.
Thank you for being here. Before we go to Ramya for a question, by all means, not just about bilingualism, but Issa has been doing voiceover for so many years. It can be the radio imaging, it can be promo, it can be commercial, it can be getting an agent, it can be all those things because that's what Issa does.
It could be working while you have a dog.
So, and I love that you're going through like some of the mistakes you made. So like, thank you for doing that because not a lot of people talk about, the tough stuff. And it's cool that you brought that up right out the gates so people can know. And I love the do your research thing because how many we all get, somebody told me I got a great voice. I should get into voiceover. Or, I could do character voices. I could do my Donald Duck. Oh, well.
Right.
Okay.
Donald's
let's
already
talk
being
about
done.
doing the research. But let's go to, I'll say it again, Ramya for our first question of the night. And Ramya, if you could unmute
I'm so
yourself.
sorry, guys. I think
You're good.
No. Wait a minute, Ramya. Are you
connection
Canadian? You
is-
apologized right out the gates. Are you a Canadian like us? No.
I am not.
I'm just kidding. We have a reputation of saying
Hollywood.
sorry a lot. Cool. What's your question for Issa?
Yeah. So, Issa, thank you so much. You are like dropping a wealth of knowledge and just being completely open and honest about your experiences, and it's speaking to kind of exactly where I am very early in my voiceover career. My goal and my aim has been primarily to get into on-camera stuff. I'm LA based and I'm still trying to get my first TV network credit, but my agency did listen to my voiceover demos and I booked a small animation job during the pandemic off of my demo. So I finally did sign with my agency's voiceover agent. And it's been great. She has been sending me so many auditions every single day. My question is, did you ever have, is this something that I should have a valid kind of concern about, feeling like I'm only now getting voiceover auditions. My theatrical agent is not even sending me other stuff. And I do feel like I spend hours a day recording auditions. It is an all-consuming thing.
Are you saying that you feel like you're wasting your time right now with the VO auditions?
No. I'm saying is this going to can you do other forms of acting, or is this going to kind of sidetrack my bigger principal acting aspect?
I think when it comes to any type of important role that you want to take on, there's no such thing as being half pregnant. So I would say, if you want to get into race car driving, I don't think that a weekend class is going to get you to, to that Formula One. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, yeah, you know, here's where it doesn't. Here's where I would say no. If you were a working actor right now and you wanted to start doing a little bit of VO, but you're paying the bills as an actor, then I would say, yeah, you know, keep going. But I mean, this is something that you gotta, if you really, really, really want to do that, if it's your goal, then you have to be all in.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, just I also had demos, and I love the sound of my own voice, so I always thought about voiceover, but now I'm actually getting all these auditions, and I am having a really great time though. Like I'm loving doing them and recording them. I just find that it's also a little more isolating than, you know, I have a theater background, so it's...
That's right. So, see, and those are things that you have to talk to yourself about. Like, is this worth it for you? Are you working harder and not smarter? These are things that you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if I may,
Yes.
Our guest last week was Ellie Ray, and Ellie Ray is a force. She's been in the industry for 45 years, and she does both on camera, well, not both, all of them. She does on camera, she does stage, and she does voiceover in whatever form they come. She's huge in animation, in video games, and then she does theater, and she produces her own stuff, and she's a coach, and she does all of the things. But for her, it's because all of them bring her an equal amount of joy. Mm-hmm. One doesn't take away from the other. So it's something possibly to look at that does it bring you enough joy that you do want to invest time in it, because you, like Issa said, which is brilliant, that's going to be one of my quotes, there's no such thing as being half pregnant. So it's either you're in or you're not in. And does it bring you enough joy to explore this? Because voice acting is a really different form of acting. And it sounds like you're a theater person, you're a screen person, which probably means that you're an extrovert. And voice acting is very insular. You are by yourself, you're talking to yourself in a padded room all day, and it can be very lonely. But the voiceover community, on the flip side of that, is so inclusive and welcoming, and we're a bunch of lunatics when we get together. So... you know, so there's that part.
Yeah. And the other thing, Ramya, I was wondering, like, have you gone to the extents of getting voiceover specific coaching and stuff like that?
That I really haven't. I haven't done and that's something that I want to do, because doing all of these auditions, I'm like, oh my God, my vocal health is more important than I've ever realized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also skill, because, you know, for anybody who's feeling down about auditions and things like that, a super pro at a conference once told me this, and it changed my life. He's like, Issa, do you know the percentage of talent that book, especially union gigs? I said, no, sir. And he said, 3%. 3%. So you really, really have to practice at what you do, because who's listening, the directors, the creative team, will be able to tell. A great example of this is one of the first commercials that I booked when I was let go after radio. It wasn't a huge one, but it was about buying a house. And you know what I was doing that month that I tried out for that commercial? Mm-hmm. Buying a house. I knew the level of stress. Yep. I knew everything that had to do with buying a house. So they must have heard that when I was reading for it.
Absolutely.
You were in character already.
Yeah. She was method acting.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ramya, I think to what Issa was saying, it might be a little bit of, soul searching as to, what's the ultimate goal and what do you really want? Because if you're going after the screen stuff and everything like that, and that's your ultimate goal, go all in. Going all in is where you get to it. If you can do some voiceover, great. But it's going to be It's what your heart. You got to follow your heart.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Yeah.
Were you going to say something else? You go ahead, please.
Just wanted to thank you, Issa. You and did you really do the Walgreens the Walgreens recording?
I do some Walgreens. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do a lot of Kia and Verizon and Medicare and Medicaid and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much.
You're so
No
welcome.
problem.
Thank you
Thanks,
for coming
Ramya.
out. We have a question in the chat that I wanted to grab before moving forward. Tiff Boom says, how do you find a good VO coach? How does one get started?
So I have a link on my Instagram that you can click, and it's just Issa's VO resources, and it tells you here's a VO coach for this, and here's a VO coach for that. And if you don't find it, message me, and I'll steer you the right direction.
Nice.
And I think this is a really important point that we don't want to gloss over, because I want everyone to realize if Issa, a 25-year talent, veteran, award-winning, fully represented talent in the industry, is willing to put someone's name on a resource list associated with her, you can call that a vetted resource, in my opinion. Yeah. So and Issa is not the only one to do it. So if you find a very experienced talent or someone who is saying, yes, this person is highly qualified to coach in this genre, that is much better than doing a Google search and finding what's in the first 5 ads that come up, because you're going to be taking a big chance. It's a much safer route. This may be a more expensive route than picking the first ad that comes up, but
it'll actually save you money in the long run.
Yeah, you're going to get the straight dope. And if you are not ready for a certain level of your career, they're going to tell you. They're going to be straight with you. They have no interest in taking money from you for nothing. And so
really hear what Mike just said, because a lot of people, they'll get upset that it's like, this such and such and so didn't take me on as a client. What a bleep. And you're like,
no.
Think about it for a second. This person didn't take your money.
That's right.
Because you're not ready. They allowed you to keep your hard-earned cash in your pocket because you are not ready for that level of coaching.
Well, and it's also like dating, guys. The reason I say this is because the reason I say this is because many of the coaches that I have found is because the people that I look up to in that genre, I have reached out to and said, who made you better? Now, when they told me this, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's one in particular coach that kept on coming up with a particular genre that is like renowned, coach, and has changed the lives of hundreds of VO people. But guess what? I did 3 sessions. I tried, and I do not click with the person, and I do not, most importantly, I don't understand their style of teaching. It was going over my head. So again, you're not going to click with all the coaches, guys. You're going to know. You're going to know.
And that's okay. I mean, Emma, I remember you telling me a similar story. So it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is like dating. If you're not having the feels, if not, you don't feel like you are clicking with a coach, then it's okay. It's not because you've invested some money. You invested some money, you tried, you learned some stuff, and you can apply that stuff. But at the same time, if you're realizing, we're probably not worth it, we're probably not good for each other, then just walk. It's okay.
And the same goes for demo producers. I remember a few years ago saying to Eric Romanowski, I was like, maybe I'll do radio imaging next. He was like, no. There wasn't even a hesitation. He was just, no. And I was like, what? He's like, for you? Absolutely not.
No. Well, no. And another thing, and this is, again, this is my opinion. I'm not linking anyone to this. Emma approached me about talking about radio imaging, and I know why. Because 60% of my income comes, 50 to 60 comes from radio imaging. So I get why she asked me this. Now, I'm going to tell you why I said no. it is equivalent to me telling everyone on this app that they should go to college for journalism. Journalism.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a field where it's very small. You have to be with only two agencies represent radio imaging.
Yep.
And for you to even go to these agencies to be represented by them, you need to have several radio stations under your belt. To get radio stations under your belt is a lot of work and years of building relationships with radio stations to be considered to be voiced. Or like it's so many steps. It's just not realistic for a beginner. I don't think it's worth someone's try at this point.
Is it almost like one of those things that happens? It's for a lack of a better explanation. Like, I mean, you have a radio background doing VO. Did it just happen?
No.
I know
the reason why I'm connected to radio imaging is because I was at a radio station and I was a syndicated talent for 12 years.
There you go.
So I built years and years and years of relationships and kept coming at people saying, give me a chance, give me a chance, give me a chance. One gave me a chance 4 years later. Then from there, I was able to use that demo to go to another one a couple of years later. It took forever to get established.
Yeah, so people need to realize that this industry isn't just about going out and getting coaching and cutting a demo and then knocking on agency doors. It doesn't work that way.
No, not with radio imaging. It does not.
We heard it from Issa tonight. We've heard it from many of our previous guests. The grind and how many times people said no to them, and then to the point of I got so tired of seeing a door closed in my face that I built my own door. Like that was literally a quote that we heard. So you get no so many times. It's not easy.
No.
I'm just going to do a quick.
Not about, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you're joining us part way or halfway through the evening show, this is the Voiceover Round Table here on Clubhouse every Tuesday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. We talk about all things voiceover with a specific focus on community, bringing roundtable discussions, special events, and industry-leading guests. And tonight, we're chatting with wonderful bilingual voiceover talent, Issa Lopez.
And
you're going to say, Emma.
Yeah, just to hop onto that. It's not to discourage anyone from, especially if you're new to this industry. This is not about discouraging you at all. Keep doing what you're doing. Like it's such a beautiful career, but it's a career and it is a business. And I think that a lot of people get, misled, possibly by themselves versus actual professionals, that it's something that's easy. It's a side hustle. It's just talking. If it was that, technically it is just talking. The funny part is that when people get in front of a microphone, they stop being able to just talk and they start talking like this, very, very, and they enunciate all of their T's and their P's. And they don't talk like a normal human. But with that, Rami's got another question. She's like, do you do weekly VO coaching? How often do you work with a VO coach? Personally, if you ask me, I'm like the biggest nerd in the room. I coach with everybody all the time. And I've been doing this. I've been on stage since I was 2. I'm 19 now. And I coach. I'm lying. I'm totally not 19. I coach all the time. I do workout groups. I do private coaching. I coach in commercial and promo. They are the 2 areas that I coach in.
How about you, Issa?
So did she ask if we do VO coaching?
How often do you get coaching, or are you coached, so to speak?
No, it says, do you do weekly coaching?
Oh.
That's the question.
Yeah. So the answer to that is no, I don't coach. And then as far as me, to be honest, now that I'm booking more, I don't coach as much, but I still do at least, I don't know, but once every couple months, every 3 months, I do a coaching session type of a thing. And if not, I'm at a conference. I do, about 2 conferences a year, and I do X classes in person. During COVID, I did, oh my gosh, all kinds of workshops.
Yeah.
Why? Because they were
Yep.
cheaper, and also you can hear other people, and you learn so much from workshops, you guys. It's fun, and you learn. But yeah, I mean, and Emma, you were talking about your T's and your P's, and I have a script that I'm bringing to the table that I wanted to give an example of
cool.
what skyrocketed my career.
I was just going to ask you that. It's like she's psychic. Stop it. I
She's
love
doing it to you too.
Oh my God. I was like, okay, I want to ask her the question. What skyrocketed? And okay, go.
So, first and foremost, it sounds silly or cliche or whatever, but being myself. In the beginning, there's so many people that I looked up to that I did demos like, and although they were fabulous demos, I was not booking. And again, I will tell you, you guys, these people that are listening to your audition, they will be able to tell whether you're real or not. And when someone asks me, okay, Issa, this is like, it's like an audition. What makes you who you are and so different? I am just a Latina, and I do so many different realms of that Latin voice. And for anybody who wants to take out a pen, this is about doing your research, you guys, okay? If you're going to set up a Voice 123 or any type of profile online, you got to know what's popular. So before I go to what skyrocketed my career and I'm going to do a reading, I want you guys to write down what is most wanted. For example, on Voice 123, which I make a lot of money on, by the way, and I built a lot of clientele. Again, this is my experience. Some people may not like Voice 123. I use it daily. I audition at least 20 times a day on there. But the top things that people want, and here we go, time for your pen. I'm going to go slow. Number one, you guys, African American VO actor. That is number 1. Number 2, cartoon. Number 3, deep voice. Number 4, female adult. Number 5, adult content. Next one, conversational. After that, authentic. Number 8, British. Number 9, Morgan Freeman.
Yes, so popular right now.
And number 10, WARM, warm. And when I think about the word warm, I think about someone who's relatable, someone who can reach out. As a company, people want you to sound relatable. And when it comes to me, Latinas create businesses 6 times faster than any other group in the U.S. Companies want to resonate with Hispanics and other cultures, because it's called smart branding. They want to resonate with that customer. Latinos and Hispanics and Spanish people were also the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. The power of the Hispanic consumer is amazing. We spend 20% more time online than any other group. How do I know this? I do my research. And that is what skyrocketed my career, is giving you, okay, for instance, I'm going to read an audition for you. It's about COVID, okay? Now, always pay attention to what they're asking for. If someone comes to me, or if I see an audition on Voice 123 or anywhere else, even from my agents, and I see neutral Hispanic accent, Latin American, Latin American English, Latin American neutral, Latin X, neutral Latin American, English with Spanish accent, light Latin accent, Hispanic accent, Latina accent, Latino accent, or subtle accented English. It's not, it's more, there's more about that. And what I mean is, they don't just want the sound, they want your style too. They want how you naturally talk. So I'm going to give you an example of an okay audition with a Latin accent, okay? It's okay and it's acceptable. And you can put this as option number 1 on your MP3 before you send it. But then I'm going to give you option number 2. So option number 1, this is again, they wanted a Latin American Latina talking to you about COVID. Here we go. This is just a regular read. Here we go. The COVID pandemic is behind us, but the virus is here to stay. And while we don't have all the answers, we do know that living with COVID-19 can be easier when you have some level of protection, including a vaccination. If you're still unsure about the vaccine or which vaccine is best for you and your family, talk with your doctor or healthcare provider to help make your decision, and then get vaccinated. That's an okay audition. It's to the point. It gives you the information, but I embrace the audition. And if I'm talking to you the way Issa's going to talk to you, this is the way it's going to sound. The COVID pandemic is behind us, but the virus is here to stay. And while we don't have all the answers, we do know that living with COVID-19 can be easier when you have some level of protection, including a vaccination. If you're still unsure about the vaccine or which vaccine is best for you and your family, talk with your doctor or healthcare provider to help make your decision, and then get vaccinated. That's the way that I would talk to my friend about getting vaccinated.
Right.
And so the first one is okay, but put that second one in there. It's just, that is the way that I would portray me talking to someone about, hey, the COVID pandemic is behind us, but the virus is here to stay. That's the way I would naturally say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because it's like, well, tying this back into coaching, because I've worked with coaches before. We all have a particular way of speaking. We all have our own rhythms and tones and pitches. And I was working with a coach for a while. He's like, you have this thing that you do with your voice, and I need you to stop doing that because that's not what's going to sell. And finally it was like, I think session number 3, I was like, respectfully, if I'm not speaking the way that I would speak, who the hell am I being?
Correct.
And how is that authentic?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I was like, thank you for your time, but I think I'm going to bow out now.
The other thing that this reminded me of, Issa, is, and I know that for sure you've experienced this too, because you just demonstrated it. When you see the difference, for example, you probably book a lot of work in both languages, and between English and Spanish, and for me, between English and French, there is often like a different rhythm and a different musicality. You don't arc on the same words and things like that. And so it's really important to be like, you can, like you did, you can say the words and they can come out and they can sound fine. But if you're going to go into that area, almost like what's often called localization, where it's not just that it's spoken in the language, but it's spoken in the language in a manner that is spoken by people in that area.
Authentic, yes. And you know, a good example of this, Mike, is, you guys, when you start to see video games and cartoons and shows lately, the authenticity, they're hiring people that really know that culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it's not real, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to have a show about a Filipino family, that half of the writers better be Filipino, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't understand a culture, you should, exactly. Yes.
We've got another question up on stage from Jessica.
She's
Can
going
you
to unmute her microphone. I believe Steve is in the room. If you need to pull a Steve Snyder method, then you must exit the stage and come back on.
Hi.
Maybe it'll work.
Jessica's with us.
Hola. Hi. Hello, all of you.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Issa.
Jessica.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to ask a question.
Of course.
So, Issa, I've been looking forward to this for so long. I'm sorry I was late. Hora Latina. Anyway, I wanted to just say that I have a question about, I really liked what you talked about giving that authentic read, like how you really talk, but then giving the one that is maybe more kind of not run of the mill, but like how it's just more to the point and maybe less you. So I go through that, right? And I think, which one do I put first? And I'm wondering why you would put your like most authentic read second, or did I misunderstand?
You know, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I now audition with just me because with Voice 123, a lot of people seek me out because of what I deliver. Now, if it's just a cold read, you really got to pay attention to the instructions. For instance, if this audition came with helpful, knowledgeable, professional, then the first audition would come first, because they're not asking you. They're not saying real person, conversational, natural.
Yeah.
That would be number 2.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're not going to talk. Me and you, I'm not going to call you, Jessica, and say, the COVID pandemic is behind us, but the virus is here to stay.
No, I know, right? You're going to be like,
I'm not
Be like,
gonna
are you
say it that
okay?
way.
Are you having a stroke? What's happening?
Right.
exactly. And I love that. And they were very different reads. I mean, it was really great. So then if you get one, like often, you're with Atlas, you get one take, that's it. And you know that it may not even get past the agents, right? I mean, that is always the case, especially because now these Spanish reads are going through Spanish speakers. So when you do that, if you just had that chance, would you get the one take and you go with your most authentic read?
Well,
If
first
that's
of
what
all,
it was called for?
you mean if you get an audition from your agent and you see the instructions?
You see the instructions, it only says one take, but you really have this like gut feeling, right? That even though they're saying friendly, professional, but you know that based on the content of the text that it sounds very casual, right? Sometimes the specs don't match.
I think at this point you should go with what you can do. And I'm going to give you an example of that because this has to do with you. I've never told you this, but I'm about to tell you now.
Oh no, I hope it's not bad.
It's not that. It's a compliment to you.
Oh, okay.
And it's also keeping it real for the audience. Do you remember the Jenny Rivera gig that you got?
Yeah.
That was my gig. The producers reached out to me directly, and I gave it to our agent in our agency, and I said, "Hey, they want me for this gig." Well, whatever read that I gave them, they must have not liked it.com because you got the gig.
Oh my goodness.
And mind you, they sought me out only first. So that goes to show. Directors know what they want. When they hear it, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I wasn't really expecting that. Issa, when I did that audition, they asked me to do it with a Spanish accent, right? And it's always like how much you want, right? I mean, I did it, and then there was a callback, and she said, "But can you do it with the accent again, but with no? Can you make it sound more like a friend, not like not like a narrator?" And I said, "Okay." So they did it, and then they got a totally different producer on, and he goes, "Chuck the Latin accent. I just want straight English. I want any inflection except on the Spanish words."
Wow.
And so I did that. So I think that they were going through a whole series of like what they wanted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, this is a great example to people that are listening. I'm a fabulous VO actor. Nobody can tell me different. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm going to book everything.
Yeah. They have to hear the voice they have in their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they hear it, they go, that's it. And it's not because you're no good. It's
Right.
That's it. That's it. What Issa
Right.
just said. It's not because you're not talented. It's not because you don't sound great. It's because you didn't sound like Jessica.
How many of us have been car shopping? You get into all kinds of cars. They're all fabulous, but when you get in that right one, you're like, this is it. Or that right apartment, this is mine. I can see this is it. You know.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, I just want to say one thing, and then I'll bow out because I don't want to be a piggy. But
You're totally fine.
you know too. You know when you're doing the reads. You can tell. You know because you don't feel like you're doing the read. You feel like you're talking to someone. You get it in 1 or 2 takes. You turn it in, and you almost can swear that you booked it. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes it can. And so, wow. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of blown away because you're one of the people that I look up to so much in this industry, and I'm really lucky to know you. And so, thank you for this time to ask a question, everyone.
Of course,
Appreciate it.
of course.
Thank you for
Grazie.
being Jessica. And
you.
Jessica, congratulations on your success too, because we know you're doing well.
I'm trying.
You do well.
You are doing.
You keep doing
All
what
right.
you're doing because obviously you're doing something right. And so thank you so much, Jessica.
Oh, thanks.
The other thing that I thought of with what you were saying, Issa, and we've heard this many times before, especially from casting directors and things like that, is don't underestimate the potential of the audition that you didn't book. And by saying that, what I'm saying is, do your best, sound the authentic you, and if you're not the one for that job, maybe you catch someone's ear, and the next time they go, oh, I remember that person that auditioned for whatever job. Let's send this their way because I think they'd be good for this. So never underestimate the jobs that you didn't book that maybe you caught somebody's ear.
Right. And another example of that is I used to get upset when I got a call back and didn't book it until someone on Facebook, when I posted it, said, Issa, the fact that you're runner number 2 or runner number 3, that is an amazing sign that you're growing and that you're starting to get to where you need to be. And when they said that, I never got sad about, having a callback and not landing it because, this week I had 2 callbacks for union gigs with products that are on the TV. We're talking 30 times in an hour, okay? but they let me go. But I just keep... Hey, I was a callback for that. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. Like I had similar experiences this week that I was like, I think it was 3 that I was let go. It's like you're on hold, avails, stand by. Oh, you've been released. Ooh.
It's hard. It's hard not to feel that stuff, right?
Especially when it's SAG and when it's a product that you see 20 times in an hour. And here's speaking of that, for the people that are listening that are not really understanding what the trend is right now with VO, because trends change. 2 years ago, it was inner voice.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All you have to do is stop forwarding through your Peacock or your whatever you're watching. Stop forwarding those commercials. Those people are the people that are booking. So start listening between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Start listening between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. You will see different trends, but most importantly, you will listen to who's booking the job and why. And that is FREE, free.
Yeah.
Ramya had another question for you. So I went and just said, come on up on stage.
Good.
You're back.
Yeah, Issa, I completely forgot to ask you. Well, first of all, let me ask, what exactly is radio imaging? I'm not entirely clear.
So radio imaging is like 106.1 KISS FM.
Got it. Okay. So I have an audition for, I am in LA, so it's for an animated project in LA. And it's a voiceover gig for playing a radio DJ in this animated thing.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. So I was kind of wondering, do you have any pointers or pieces of advice?
Absolutely. Go online, go to YouTube and watch like Radio Nation or, Kiss FM in LA, or, look up interviews of these DJs, and all you have to do is listen, and you'll see that there's a different way to be.
Yep.
Totally. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good luck.
You gotta say break a leg. Sorry.
Break a lip. Break a lip.
Break a lip.
Right.
That's the voiceover equivalent. Awesome. Thanks, Ramya. There's a question in... Sorry, Emma.
No, we're doing the same thing.
Okay, I was going to say, I think Corinne, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, is asking Issa about how many jobs do you book from Voice 123?
And what level of membership are you on, if I may ask?
That's a good question too. Yes.
I spent a big amount with VO123. I believe in it.
Right.
So let's just put it this way. I'm almost top tier there. More than thousands of dollars for the membership.
Well, I'm looking at your membership right now, like your profile right now. It's ridiculous. She's got pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And again, the reason why is because I gain a lot of clients that keep coming back to me. What was the question though?
How many jobs?
How many?
How many jobs? I would say on a good week, 3 gigs a week.
That's solid.
On a slow week, 1. Yeah.
Related question. If you had to like carve up the pie, what percentage of the pie comes from 123 and pay to plays?
As far as income?
Yeah.
For me, because I'm bilingual, 20%.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that number. That sounds fair.
Yep.
See, it's a different dynamic, and I know that people out there go, "Oh, wait a minute, but I can't go and become bilingual." Like, not instantly. You can't.
Right.
So it's kind of an unfair advantage, but it's something that we've been working at all our lives. Okay, so let us have it. But it tells you that on these platforms, there's a different demand for different languages. And you can also play this in your favor. So like sometimes I will get people who come to me and they say, well, I'm French speaking. I speak some English, but with a heavy accent. Do you think I can find success on there? And I always give them the analogy, well, like, okay, if I see an audition that's in North American English, there might be 150 submissions that go in for it. And then if I see something that asks for French Canadian, there might be 30 or 40 submissions that go in for it. And then if I see something that asks for bilingual, it might be like between 15 and 20, 25. So you got to play that. So it's not because you don't speak North American English that you can't make these platforms work for you.
Well, and you hit another point that I wanted to point out, and this is only for my bilingual English and Spanish listeners, okay? You also need to know what Latinx means in the VO world. Latinx is not, I'm going to read, what it's not, okay? The COVID pandemic is behind us. The virus is here to stay. That is not Latinx. That is not what people, at least 90% to 95% of people do not want you to sound like Sofia Vergara talking like that. No. A Latinx accent is, the COVID pandemic is behind us, but the virus is here to stay. You know that I'm from somewhere, but it's not in your face like that. Yep. It's just light.
Just a little.
So with that comes, because Mike said it, and this goes with French, German, whatever. If you have an extremely strong accent like Salma Hayek, you need coaching. I'm going to tell you that now. I am qualified to let you know that you're not going to book a lot of English gigs that are Latinx. Why? Because they don't want that.
Yeah.
They don't.
And you need to be able to control it where it's not.
Correct.
Like you said, the dial, and
Yes.
and I think Jessica said this too, like how much?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
But, you know, the voice 1, 2, 3 thing. That's cool. Sounds like you're having fun on there. That's for sure. And the one thing that's cool, we don't hate on any of the platforms. I know people like to hate on the platforms for whatever reason, and usually the people hating on the platforms is because they're not there or they're struggling with them or whatever. We are very open to people being open to their VO business and finding the baskets they need to fill up and filling them up and making a go of it, because that's what it's all about. So you do you, and if the platform is part of your marketing basket, then so be it.
Right. And, you know, again, I may be ridiculed over this, but I'm about to get super, super real here. You know, even at above a 6-figure income, which took forever, but I'm proud that I can say that. A lot of people knock Fiverr, but I am on Fiverr. Fiverr pays all my conference trips and all my vacations. And the reason why I'm okay with Fiverr is because you set your price.
Yes, you do.
Okay? No, I'm not on there for $5. You're going to pay for me. But guess what? Some people want to pay. And if you want to pay, then I'll do it. So again, you control your career. And a lot of people may be like, oh my God, she's on Fiverr? Yes, I am. And guess what? I don't have to spend a penny to go to VO Atlanta because Fiverr is paying all my trip.
Which is brilliant. And it's interesting because I remember being, when Clubhouse first started, you know, I was spending a lot, because it was the pandemic, what else did you do? There was a lot of coaching, and we worked a lot, which was fantastic. Those of us who had home studios, we worked a lot more than the average bear. Thank you for that, universe. But there was a lot of clubs, a lot of rooms that I was in, and I remember being in one, and it was a bunch of producers, casting directors, and voice directors talking about Fiverr, and a lot of them were from the Arab Emirates, a lot of like Dubai, stuff like that, and they were like, we only work on Fiverr, and I was like, this is really interesting, I want to listen to this. And this one particular guy, he's like, we only work on Fiverr because it's a really, really easy platform as a client to use. He's like, it's up to you as the voice talent to put your rate. He's like, I can't book you if I've got a budget of $150 and your rate starts at $350. I don't have access to you. He's like, but so these are the rates that I'm working with, but everything is very, very forward. Like there isn't anything untoward about it. Yes, you can find people who will do anything for $5, that's on them. That's not on the platform.
Right. Right.
So, and I think it's the same of any platform. 1, 2, 3, VDC, all of them have free jobs, really low budget jobs. It's up to you to accept the rate.
And it's up to you. Here's another good example. It's up to you also on what you allow in your business. I'm going to give you an example. You know, telephony is at least a good 30% of my income as well. And I have a client out of London, and they take about 2 months to pay me. Okay, they take a long time, but you know what? I make about $2,000 a month with this company. So am I going to say, oh, no, I'm not going to wait too much for your bill or for my money? Nah, man. If you do your research and you know that they're legit, wait for the money.
Send in that monthly invoice. My
telephony pays for all of my coaching. Because I let it just all go into PayPal, because I'm in Canada and most of my coaches are USD. So I just I'm paid in USD, it goes into PayPal, and I pay all of my coaching from that account. Yeah. From telephony.
Flexibility for clients is so valuable, and they will so appreciate it.
And to what you were saying, Issa, I think there's a bigger picture sort of mindset thing that I find a lot of VO have trouble wrapping their head around, because they get so fixed in their ways. I don't want to do Fiverr because XYZ. I don't want to be on VDC because XYZ. And the same thing goes, why should I accept PayPal, or why should I do this and pay fees? It's like, go get the money. Go get the money. And so what you pointed out is, and Emma, to your point as well, is you got to go where the clients are going. And for some people, maybe that's Fiverr. For some people, maybe that's Voice 1, 2, 3. And you don't need to worry about their reasons. Maybe it's just because they put all their stuff there. They signed up for an account. They got good results on the first couple of jobs that they booked. And they're like, well, why would I go anywhere else? It's the same thing with paying. When you go to a store or you go to the gas station, chances are you take out the same card every time. Why? Because it works for you, right?
Correct.
And so that's the same. So we have to be on the other side of the table where that money is ready to come in.
Correct. And you have to be smart, because if someone's going to get a hold of me on Fiverr or even Voice 1, 2, 3, okay, and I see that it's a huge product, let's say it's for Uber, okay? If Uber got a hold of me on Fiverr, I would say, here's my agent's number. I'm not going to do a huge client like that on a platform that is not going to control my residuals, period. But that is my rule. Yours is yours.
You do yourself a disservice and you do the industry a disservice, but
correct.
You have to know, like you say, do your research.
Correct. But if it's an answering service for Paulo's Auto Shop in LA, okay?
We love Paulo's.
Yes, I'm gonna do your phone system. Of course I am. If you're willing to pay my fee, absolutely, I got you.
I love it. Everybody's looking up and calling Paulo's tonight. Oh, I just want to hear Issa tonight. I love it. I love it.
There's a hand up. I'm trying to bring him.
Before you grab that hand, work on that hand. I saw another question in the chat. And again, my apologies if I say this incorrectly, but I think it's Anna Karen. What is your ratio of Spanish to English bookings?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Doesn't need to be an exact number.
I would say no. This is great. This makes me think.
Yeah.
Out of the number 10, I would say 80% is 70 to 80% is Spanish. And then the 30%, which is growing more and more and more because people are using Latinx, and Latinx is how I naturally talk right now, is the other percent, 30%. But again, it's growing. It's growing. Like I'll give you an example. And this is again about doing your research, because I didn't even know this. But 2 years ago, before the election, 3 months to the wire of the countdown, I made close to about $100,000. You know why? Because I did not know that in places like Florida, the majority of Hispanics are Republicans.
Yep.
And so the Democratic Party was desperate to get to these people. And how do you get to them? Is through commercials. And so people like me were desperately needed. I was in the studio 24/7, but the money was worth it. So again, these are things that you learn along the way, where you start to say, okay, this is who I'm going to target. This is where I'm going to advertise, or this is what, you learn along the way.
You brought up a question. We're going to go to Jeff in just a second, but you talked about political, not a spectrum that I play in, but I know that some people even work both sides. Did you do that, or
no?
Okay,
I am straight up Democratic.
It's because some people can do it, and I'm like,
some people can, but not me. Don't come to me with that, because I'll be like, no, thank you, I can't.
Yeah, I just can't.
Yeah.
Jeff is up on the stage, and is Jeff going to unmute, or are we going to see another? Oh,
hey, everybody.
Hello.
Wonderful to be here, and incredible content. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us. What's your question for Issa?
Issa, what was really funny is when you were talking at first, shortly after you guys started, before I heard you do the quick telephony example, I was like, what? Let me just say it this way. An example of a true professional is when just out of the blue, you turn your voiceover actress voice on and away you went. And that was great. I had never heard you before. So I have two what might be kind of funny questions, and I've been in and out here a little bit, so I apologize if I missed anything you guys talked about. Number one, in this time of pollen, if you live in the Southeast, and getting a cold, what do you do to keep your voice in tip-top shape when it is your lifeline? That's question number one. And then number two, go ahead.
I am not going to lie to you guys. I don't do absolutely nothing. I don't even have...
My girl. That's
You're
my
lucky.
girl right there.
I don't even have a humidifier.
I know, neither do I. I know.
I should be ashamed of myself.
Disgraceful.
Yes.
Well, I just think about it because I've had this nagging cough that just has not gone away for a couple of weeks, and I'm thinking to myself, if I was doing this full time, which I would like to do someday. I did radio in the 90s, and I've been in sales and things like that since. But it never leaves your blood, as you all know. Mm-hmm. But if I were, living on my voice, I had that thought. And then the second one, maybe kind of related, is this whole AI and what's happening with voices there. What advice or what is your folks' opinion on where that's all going?
So with me, I don't do any research with AI at all. I know what it means, but I am not involved in it at all. And that's just personal choice.
Yeah, I'm a bit one to put my fingers in my ears and go la 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 when it comes to AI. Everybody is like boogeyman, fear mongering, and listen, we can't deny, like every day you going through your Facebook feed and you see another example of a deep fake or voice stuff, and it's bonkers what the technology is leaping forward with leaps and bounds, but at the end of the day, you can choose to get caught up in the panic of it and what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Or you just keep plowing forward with the knowledge in your heart that a real authentic voice is always going to have a place.
That's right.
That's what I try and keep in my heart. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe 5 years from now, the robots will come to my door and go, tick, tick, tick. Guess what? Retirement time, baby. But that's my personal thing.
I hope that's absolutely right, and maybe it will be. I saw what happened, as Issa, you were talking about earlier, kind of with radio and what happened in the late 90s and into the 2000s, how things went from live to tracking everywhere, and maybe you were a part of that, where you tracked 10 stations.
I was in over 500 stations at once. The radio was in trouble. It started to get in trouble around 2007. That's when the worst year ever. So,
The one thing I want to add on the AI thing for you, Jeff, and for everyone else listening, as a talent, whether you are new or whether you are veteran, in my opinion, one thing you can do to try and be, I can say I'll try and be on the right side of this. I guess it depends how you approach this. But when you see these jobs offered to voice talent,
text to speech,
10,000 phrases or whatever. And now it takes even less. But if it's text to speech, or it's like we're training a model, or it's for, voice learning, and the language is like, if it's ding, 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 this sounds like AI. I want you to just think long and hard about doing that job and giving your voice away. And the reason being is that, yes, that money might look attractive right now. Maybe it could be $2,000, it could be $3,000, it could be $5,000, it could be $10,000. But in the long run, maybe doing that job puts you out of future work. And that can be a whole other conversation. We've talked about it a lot on the show before, but that can happen where you've given that, and now all of a sudden somebody can make commercials with your voice and not have to pay you. So you got to think long and hard. It's
pretty scary stuff.
It seems like a nice, oh wow, 10 grand, that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. In one shot, it is a lot of money. But if you put yourself out of the running because you've got a text-to-speech or an AI model that's made of you, then are you going to be able to book national commercials? Are you going to be able to book stuff? Because there's that, the water is muddied. So I caution everyone, before you give of your voice, you give up your voice to a model, even if it's several $1,000s, just really think long and hard on the impacts that could have on your potential future career. Boom.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you. This is wonderful to listen to you guys.
Thanks for
Jeff.
being here, Jeff.
You having fun, Issa?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been wonderful tonight. Any last questions for Issa? Emma, have you been combing through the chat?
We have one more hand up. We have Mike.
Sweet.
So I'm going to bring him up, and this will be our last question. Of course, now everyone's lit. Of course, y'all are raising your hands now. This is what happens all the time. Like, come on, guys, ask the questions. Then it's like 9 o'clock. Hello, I have a question.
Yes. So Mike will be our last question for this evening, but don't be shy to follow Issa on socials and hit up with a question if you have and stuff like that. Remember that Issa's personal website is pinned at the top of the page, and you can connect on socials that way. Mike, welcome aboard.
I'm just gonna. If you have not been on the stage before, there you go. He's good.
Mike.
Yes.
He's got it. He's got
Hi
it.
there, guys. Good evening. And first of all, thank you for doing what you guys do. I appreciate it. Good discussion tonight. And I'll make my question quick and get out the way. It's pretty much for all of you guys, a warm-up routine. Do you guys have any warm-up routines that you would like to offer or give that you do before you get into the box and you begin to read, or
I want to know
Just curious.
Issa's warm-up routine. I have an idea, but
I should be ashamed of myself.
Here it
I
comes.
don't have one. I don't warm up at all. And mind you, this is also back in the day when I was singing. No warm up at all. Again,
the same.
shame on me. I don't have nothing.
The only warm up I do, if any, is because I go for a walk every morning, is what I do. And I get obsessive about music. So if there's a new album that I've bought on iTunes, I will play that thing over and over and over again until I know all of the lyric, and I sing as I'm walking down the street looking like a crazy homeless person in an oversized coat, like hair dry, it's scary stuff. Keeps me safe in the city of Toronto. But I sing at the top of my lungs. And right now it's Pink's new album. So
oh my goodness, we have stories.
Yeah. I sing my face off.
Mike, I'm kind of I should split this. I'm in the same camp as Issa, and I love that Issa was so forthcoming and honest with this. I was like, yeah, no warm up, whatever. Eat a cheeseburger before a directed session, whatever. I do warm up sometimes. And what I will say, I find it less for auditions, but more when I know that I've got something that's going to require some vocal consistency and stamina in front of me. So for example, if I have a long e-learning project and I want to be able to work maybe for an hour or an hour and a half, obviously do a block, take a break, do a block, take a break. But what I often do if I have to warm up is kind of just some humming, some gentle humming. And if you look online, like you look on YouTube and you look for voiceover warm-up exercises, you're going to find a lot of different stuff. And it's one of those things where you just have to find something that works for you and that you'll be willing to do.
But humming is really, really good. It's really good for your vocal folds,
and so
for sure.
I do a combination of two things. I do the humming thing where it's just you start off with a very, very gentle hum. You don't want to push anything too hard. It's very gentle, and then it just grows, and you push it through your vocal range. So you and stuff like that. And then the silly thing that I do, and as an instructor, I've shown students this on camera, and I'm embarrassed, and thank God nobody filmed this, but I will actually go through the vowels in the most exaggerated, stretchy mouth possible. So that's like A, and it's just like, thank God this is an audio show, but stretching out your mouth with all the vowels, and you can't forget, and sometimes why, because it's like, that makes it count. But anyways, I don't know if that'll work for you. The other one I hear people doing a lot is pretending you got peanut butter all in your mouth and you've got to go and clean it out with your tongue, which is kind of ew. But anyways, you got to find something that works for you and that you will be willing to do. Otherwise, I say be like me and Issa and Emma, have a cheeseburger or cauliflower rice.
But I think that goes with anything, right? You know, if you see yourself doing it, if it's going to be something, then you could do it. It's kind of like a diet. If it's not something you see yourself doing forever, it's not going to work. You know,
if you don't feel it. Sweet. That answer your question, Mike?
Yes, that was great stuff. I was actually here laughing, so I appreciate it.
How you muted to laugh. I love it.
Yes,
Awesome,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys have a good evening.
Thanks for
You
being
too.
with us
Thank
tonight.
you.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. Amazing. I was excited to have you on, and I knew it was going to be a great show. And it's such a pleasure to talk to you and to connect with you. And I can't wait to hang out in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Now I'm very jealous because
it's
I
gonna be so much
fun.
fun.
Yay!
Where are you going next besides Atlanta this year, Issa? You going to LA in December?
Oh, you mean, I may for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was
10th
there last
anniversary.
December. And I had such a good time.
Yeah.
It's amazing just how I can't believe that we're already at the end of March almost. It's
so
just crazy. But what was really crazy, I don't know if this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I can't believe that it's already been a year since the slap at the Oscars. When I was watching the Oscars, I was like, wait a minute. The slap was a year ago?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. So it's amazing how just time flies, you know?
It really is. It's going so quickly.
Yeah.
Just like, how is it the end of March? How is Atlanta next week?
Next week. I know. And you know what? I have to keep reminding myself that it's next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Issa, this has been great. Like, you are, as a guest, much like you are in your voiceover, so authentic and real, and just what you see is what you get, what you hear is what you get.
Yep.
And we love you for it, and we really appreciate you having joined us tonight. Muchas gracias. And I just can't thank you enough. Hopefully, come back sometime.
Yay. Thank you, guys.
Come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a big thank you to, thank you to Issa Lopez, and a big thank you to our audience and all of our supporters. Emma, thank you to you.
You are so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for always keeping the ship running. And my job is always gathering the folks to be on the show. And next week, we have Eric Shepard from Shepard Agency. If you don't know Eric, it'll be a hoot.
Oh, he's a trip. He's one of my agents. He's a trip.
Isn't he, though? He's so great. I love him.
Yep.
There's no sugar
program
about
may
him.
contain adult content.
And zero sugar. There will be no sugar. He
Zero
will
sugar,
tell you like
yes.
it is.
Yeah, man. Love it. Cool. Next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, here on Clubhouse, the Voiceover Round Table. Love you, Emma. Thank you, Issa. Muchas gracias.
No problem.
Take care.
Bye.
And have a great night, everyone. We'll hear you next time.
Good night.